crazy roller coaster of a month for Xbox.
Let's start at when it was apparently good, like
Okay, we should start there because when it was like that, we were like cautiously optimistic during
Yes.
that time. And even if you watch those videos, like we're saying, like Asha Sharma is saying all the right things.
Yeah.
And this is like the most important takeaway from this past month or two is we've seen a masterclass of CEO speak, executive speak. She has been on fire in terms of making all the right moves and saying all the right things to keep things like somewhat calm. But since those videos, so the first thing that happened was we got that article that said that Xbox is planning to significantly slash budgets for marketing and other areas of the business, and then that expect some studio closures.
Yep.
That was like the vague aspect of it. That one day when that article came out about Ninja Theory,
Yeah.
we kept hearing buzz about a bunch of different studios that were worried. And then it turns out Xbox is planning to close down. I don't know if I'm sure the process has already started for Ninja
Yeah.
Theory, Compulsion Games, and Double Fine. Ninja Theory is pretty much dead, it sounds like. That seems like the one that everyone is saying is shutting down.
Yeah, there's a lot of contradictory reporting happening. Like The Verge has definitively said Ninja Theory is dead,
Yes.
while others are like, well, they announced Senua so that they could attract investors. And we can get into that at some point.
Yeah.
Just that whole
Which
thing.
is just crazy. Yeah.
That's another thing to unwind. But it seems like there may be room for all three. There's certainly a process where none of these studios will remain with Xbox. What happens to them afterwards? Who's to say?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I think Compulsion Games will not be here. I don't.
No. I
They
don't see anything that they offer that could, you
yeah.
know, make them worth it to any other company.
At this state of
Um
the industry in
yeah.
particular, it's
Mhm.
and that's not to say that they make bad games or anything, but their games are um just haven't been commercially viable. Even
Yeah.
though, yeah, South of Midnight was a award-winning game, but it took like 7 years to make. I don't know if it literally took 7 years or if they were doing other things that just didn't pan out. Either way, there was a 7-year gap between their games, and they spent money in that 7 years, and
Mhm.
it didn't quite work out. So award-winning games are great, but you also need to make sure that it is reaching a audience, and I don't know that that game did. Did you play it?
I did not play it.
I didn't play it
No. Yeah.
either.
There's too
So
many
yeah,
games. There's
yeah.
too many video games.
It'd be great to, and I also think they were like a size of like almost 100 people or something too. And so if
Mm,
you were like a team of 20 to 30, I think you'd probably have more of a case of like sustaining that
yeah.
somewhere. But I just don't know. Double Fine, I think they have a great legacy, and there will probably be
They
someone
do.
out there who wants to kind of protect that, whether it be Tim Schafer, because I'm sure he's a pretty savvy businessman. He
Yeah.
used to do
Yeah.
crowdfunding to kind of help with Double Fine projects and stuff. So
He's
I
somebody
think
who I think knows how to get them out of this.
yes,
What I will say is I could see it being that Double Fine, spins off, but it becomes kind of a telltale situation
mm,
where
yeah,
he keeps all the rights to all their properties and maybe down the line. The Hail Mary is they have to make Psychonauts 3, I feel like that's their most like, and that's not even me being somebody who's hopeful because I'm a Psychonauts fanboy. It's just that
yeah,
that's their most recognizable property.
it is.
So if they want to bounce back from this, that should be the play. But yeah, I can see them doing some sort of thing where they spin off, but there's going to be significant cuts.
Yep.
No matter what across all these companies, no matter what happens to them, the worst part is a bunch of people are going to be unemployed. But we should talk about how we got here.
Yeah.
So Jason Schreier has done a ton of reporting on this, and he's probably 80% of our information
Yeah.
for this. And he did a YouTube video, an unedited, uncut video where he just talks to the camera for like 30 minutes about this stuff. It's a great video. If you haven't seen it, go see it. But there's a couple key takeaways. So this all started back in the early 2020s, around quarantine time, where Xbox went on that shopping spree that we've talked about where they acquired Activision Blizzard and a bunch of other companies that, they just spent money on. The plan was to drive subscriptions to Game Pass. That was their whole entire business plan was it doesn't matter how much we buy as long as it goes on Game Pass and Game Pass drives subscriptions, then we're in a good spot. And that was a
Yeah.
messaging towards the companies too. Was
Mhm.
don't worry about, profit, break even,
Yeah.
but you know, Game Pass is what we're focused on. Just make fun games that we can put on Game Pass. And so all the companies started doing that.
Yeah.
And then later on, it was reported that this is in October 2025 that Schreier broke this. Over the past 2 years, executive at the Seattle-based software giant have set an across-the-board goal of 30% accountability margins, which is
Mhm.
the term that Microsoft uses for profit margin. The average profit margin for games and in the industry is like 17 to 22%. After telling all your companies to make whatever, doesn't matter if it's profitable or not,
Yeah.
you games take a long time to make.
Yeah.
They can't switch gears in the middle of it, and in the middle of them developing stuff, you tell them, actually, you need to attain this pretty much impossible profit margin. In an email that Asha Sharma wrote to, I think, the company sometime this month, she said that that profit margin has plummeted to 3%. Excluding Activision, over the past 5 years, Xbox have spent over 20 billion on ongoing investments, but our annual revenue has declined nearly half a billion during that time. I mean, the way we got here is just horrible mismanagement.
It's pretty insane in
Yeah.
hindsight. I mean, even at the time, people were like, "Is this sustainable?" Like for a long time, people were like, "Is this? Can you make this work?"
The answer has always been no.
Yeah,
Like it and I mean, when you look at the numbers of Netflix, which is what Game Pass is trying to base their model off of,
yeah,
Netflix itself is not very profitable.
no,
To take that strategy and apply it to video games, which are a much more expensive endeavor, the average video game, AAA video game,
mhm.
costs more than the average Avengers movie.
Yeah.
At these days, like you can't be like taking the strategy for gaming and make it.
Uh, Netflix also wasn't profitable for like a very, very, very long time, if I recall.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it was up until I think fairly recently not profitable. And
Yeah.
the other thing, like you kind of said, you can't apply it because movies are different, but also and I know that this is kind of true for Netflix because they or Game Pass because the majority of the catalog is back catalog stuff, older games and stuff. But it would be like Netflix has never put out Avengers Endgame on
Yeah.
Netflix day one, That's
No.
never happened and will never happen. Disney would never do it for Disney Plus. There's never been a movie of that scope and scale. Maybe you could make the argument like Zack Snyder's Justice League, but that was a movie that was already out and it was just a different situation.
Godzilla versus Kong, but that was
HBO
during
did that, yeah,
COVID.
during
Yeah.
COVID, yeah,
Yeah.
but they quickly were like, "This doesn't work," so
Yes, it
they
was
they
immediate,
backpedaled.
like, they were like, "Alright, we can't do this for every
Yeah,
movie."
yeah,
Um, and the other thing is, like, Netflix right now is kind of starting to turn back on that a little bit by doing like they're doing the Narnia movie with a
mhm,
theatrical release, a wide theatrical release. Even the Cliff Booth movie is getting
yep.
the IMAX release for about a month, right? Or something like
I think
2 week
it's 2
window or
weeks,
something.
yeah,
Yeah. And they did it with Knives Out and they did it with some other stuff, but it's clear that they know that they can't just rely on just the subscriptions and they need to find revenue in other places and it's not like Xbox was only putting stuff on Game Pass. Like, of course you could buy it, but why would
right.
I buy Call of Duty? Me personally, I would not buy the last few Call of Duties. I would have played it on Game Pass.
Nope.
So,
Yeah, I mean, speaking from a place of someone who gets these games for free for work and stuff, even still, I probably would not spend $70 on Call of Duty as a Call of Duty player because I'm like, well, it's just included in
yeah.
this service. I know you can make the argument that over time I spend more money on it, but I'm like, I'm not buying Game Pass just for one game. If you were buying it for just one game, then yeah, that doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
most people use it for a handful of games, and that's where you get your
Mhm.
value from. And I really do think like you could probably make the argument that things would have been sketchy, but maybe somewhat sustainable until they bought Activision. Because once you make a $70 billion investment,
Yeah.
you've entered a whole other world where you should be taking your decisions more seriously. And what's funny too is Bobby Kotick, when they were making the whole trial or whatever,
Mhm.
it wasn't a trial, but the hearings and stuff about what is your plan here. Bobby Kotick was asked like, "Hey, if you were doing this, would you put Call of Duty on Game Pass?" He's like, "Fuck no, never."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. And then it came out that I think they lost like $300 million or something in that ballpark from Black Ops 6 because they didn't have the sales. So they're like, we
Mhm.
could have made an extra $250 million, but
Yeah.
we put it on Game Pass. So, whatever. But ultimately, that has not been a good investment. It's telling because they're not doing it this year for Modern Warfare 4, which is ironically probably would have been the game to do it, but I
Yeah.
understand why they're not. Like that would
Yeah.
have been the best, possible situation. It's just they've put themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. It has just been nothing but disaster at every step of the way. And with Bethesda too, like Starfield did not hit. That's another like
Yeah.
10 years ago that investment made sense, but then they unfortunately made arguably their worst game in a long time, even though I kind of like it, but like it's not the hit that people want it to be.
Mhm.
Just wrong investments, wrong time.
Feel like there's a lot riding on what's next, which I believe is Elder Scrolls 6. Is there
Yeah.
anything else on the
Not from Bethesda proper, obviously, like their
we have the Fallout
subsidiaries.
3 rumor
Yeah,
and
that
yeah.
seems like that's probably gonna happen, and then there will be another Fallout game. They've already said that as much. And then the subsidiaries have like Blade and stuff like that.
Which we
But
don't know what is going on with Blade. We have 0 clue.
it's yeah,
Completely silent from it at the SGF this year, which is or the Xbox showcase. And all right, so my question to you is will armchair CEO this a little bit? Like
yeah.
what is the move here for Xbox? Is what was the Senua thing like a smart move to show the trailer to try to attract investors? Like, is that really, the strategy? Like what because my take there is that she's trying to all her messaging the past couple months is her trying to keep the Xbox brand seemingly profitable and seemingly like valued so that you can sell off like Ninja Theory
Yeah,
or any of these companies so that you can make some money back before you eventually shutter the brand,
right.
at least the hardware side, and just stick to the software stuff.
The frustrating thing was, so when all this started coming out, I was talking about it on Twitter and stuff, and a lot of people were like, well, she has to make hard decisions. I'm like, yeah, I get that. The frustrating thing is it comes a week after the return
Yeah.
of Xbox. They made this whole big
Yeah.
spectacle. They fucking announced, hey, we're giving out how many dozens or hundreds of those special edition Xboxes, which cost lots of money to make. Like, I know
Amazing
it's,
move.
yeah, I'm just like, ugh. It's not that I don't understand the hard decisions. It's the timing. It's the messaging. It's just none of it feels right. It's
Yeah.
you built up a win in theory, and
Hmm.
then you just destroy it in the next week,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what's so aggravating. As for the Senua thing, I do think that was a mistake, because who in this industry is out there buying studios right now? Nobody.
No, none of them. It's just not.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Everyone's getting shut down or laid off. Epic Games laid off 1,000 people at the beginning of the year. Bungie's about to undergo significant layoffs.
Yeah.
Blue Point got closed. So PlayStation's certainly probably not buying them. We can rule that
Yeah.
out. I don't think like Embracer is doing it because I think they've basically stated like we're pulling back on the acquisitions after going pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Uh, I
And
don't
that's what I was
think,
gonna bring up
yeah,
is like I was curious if we're gonna see some sort of auctioning like we
yeah,
did with when THQ Nordic bought up a bunch of different
yeah,
stuff from THQ who
yeah,
shut down.
yeah.
Um, but I just don't see that happening at all. Like it's just
Also, last year, this happened with The Initiative and the Perfect Dark game. That
yep.
game was almost sold off to Take-Two, but for whatever reason, I think they were partnered with someone else. I think it was maybe Embracer, but I can't remember who.
Yeah, yeah.
They were gonna take this game and they were gonna sell it, but they couldn't agree on terms. So it all fell apart. So like
Yeah.
there's so many variables there. If that game, which I think looked a lot better and more interesting than Senua, can't get acquired, then why would this? I mean, speaking about games that don't have commercial viability, I don't think
Yeah.
Hellblade is,
No.
gonna
No.
sell millions of copies.
It's not a system seller,
No.
it's a cool indie game that a lot of people liked.
Yeah.
Back to that Perfect Dark thing, when that happened, Perfect Dark getting canceled, that was when I realized how bad things were for
Me
Xbox.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. The strategy there was confusing in the first place. Like, why are you gonna spend so much money on a property that, millennials only care about?
Yeah.
Perfect Dark Zero was a launch title that everybody forgot about. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a
It looked
confusing
good.
strategy.
Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely think there was some value in, like, if we rebrand this. I mean, because if as long as you're not calling it a sequel and it's just a reboot, I think there's a way to reintroduce that to people. It
Mhm.
looked like a really cool immersive sim kind of game. Granted, there's been a lot of claims that that was not like real, like it was all
Yeah.
faked, which I totally
I
understand. But
believe, yeah.
even if it came like somewhat close to that, it still would have been really cool in my opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, it does kind of boggle my mind that that was something they were willing to pull back on. It must have been just like they weren't seeing the progress they wanted to see in it, or I'm wondering if it was like a you have to because if we keep going with this and the game doesn't sell, then we're fucked. Like we're just totally cooked because that's where we are right now. I think where they're making the hard decisions. Asha Sharma, I don't think we even said it, basically wrote a whole memo saying um, that they need to do a reset. That was her words, is reset. And she's used the word hard decisions throughout the year as well. And so I don't envy her position. There's no like easy decision and there's no right decision probably, either way you're going to piss a lot of people off and I understand that and I have a little empathy towards that. She inherited a fucked up version of Xbox.
Mhm.
And as we started off, this was something that built up over the last 10 years or so and that sucks. It makes me angry at the former leadership. I just don't know. Again, if we were all saying like how is this sustainable, I don't know how anybody internally didn't really examine that like super duper hard because I just feel like the writing was on the wall the whole time. I don't know. I know that they're smart business people, or at least I hope they are. They're paid extremely large amounts of money, but like I just don't know how this happened without anybody saying, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't do that." I just don't know.
Like, Xbox had value
Yeah, it
15 years
did.
ago.
It did.
They were a brand, and now it just doesn't seem like anything. I
I
mean, so my short-term solution right now for them is GTA 6. We just saw the cover. Pre-orders are coming
yeah,
up. A lot of people are still stuck on last gen, and a
yeah,
lot of people have not bought new consoles. I would hope that they're working closely with Rockstar to try and make it super optimized for the Series S, because that will be the cheapest entry level to get into GTA 6. And I know of at least a couple people who have not bought a new console who will buy it
yep.
a new console for GTA. So if they want to sell some hardware, I think that's a good strategy, but also like I don't think they care. That's like I don't know if they care, and I don't know what they do at this point. And I think me and you are kind of like we were cautiously optimistic, but it kind of just feels like it's over. And
Yeah.
that's really sad.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny. So I was interviewing someone very recently, and we were talking about Call of Duty 2, which was a
Mhm.
launch game for the Xbox 360, and
I
it
that's the
never.
game I got on launch when I got an
Yeah,
Xbox 360.
it
Yeah.
never came to PS3. It is the
Yeah.
only Call of Duty you can only play on Xbox or PC,
Mhm.
and uh, he told me that game had a 90% attach rate on Xbox 360. Means
Yeah.
90% of people who bought an Xbox 360 bought Call of Duty 2.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I have it.
That's
I had it.
unheard of. And that shows you like the brand power that they had back then. And
Yeah.
then somewhere along the way they just lost everything. And it just all fell apart. There's no game with a 90% attach rate on
No, it
Xbox.
doesn't
I
happen.
don't even think it's like Halo or anything, like
I
or
don't know if there's
Forza.
a 90% attach rate to maybe like Spider-Man on
Maybe.
PlayStation. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that'd be the
Um,
closest.
yeah, but it's just not, there's the competition is too fierce now for
Yeah.
companies. Like, and there's my thing with the whole industry. This is not just an Xbox thing. Um, I just don't know how you invest in a AAA game anymore and how you think
Yeah.
that you can make any profit out of that. And I don't, I like my AAA games like as much as
Mhm.
I prefer indies and AA titles. Like First Light was great. And I
Yeah.
want to continue to see good AAA games, but there's just too much out there. And with how high budgets there are for AAA gaming and you know, how much of a recession we're in where people don't want to buy new games. I
Mhm.
just don't know how this is a viable business anymore. And it just makes me really worried for the future of these types of video games. And I don't know. It's just it's hard to be have any optimism about any of
Sure.
this shit right now. So that's all.
Something I've just been thinking about while we've been talking here is we're approaching a time where some of the biggest studios are all about to release games in the same 1 to 2 year window. Playground has Fable, which has been in development for like 7 years.
Yeah.
GTA 6, of course,
Yeah.
Intergalactic, and a few Elder Scrolls 6 will probably come out by 2028 if I had to guess. All of these games have been gestating for close to a decade.
Yep.
Um, and what happens when those games are done? What are these companies, plus especially platform holders, going to hold on
What's their
to? Because
strategy? Yeah.
yeah, it's like once those are gone, it's like yeah, Rockstar's probably not going to put out another game for at least 10 years. You
At
know, it
least.
at
At
least
least.
if
Yeah.
they're unless they completely change their strategy, which I've been trying to like I have no power in this, but just like trying to plead, like go back to your strategy of releasing, a game a year or every 2 years or whatever when they were in
Make
the
a
360 era.
manhunt and you
They
know what
it,
they could do
they
is
have the
just
power to do it.
use the GTA 6 engine and, reuse assets and make smaller games
Yes,
around that. And
they
and
have so many people too. Like they have
yeah.
2,000 plus developers, and that was as of 2018. That number has probably grown to double if I had to guess.
Mhm.
They have the bandwidth to do smaller games that still are, like, blow your mind, like, they have it, but will they do that? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Um, and so that concerns me of, like, okay, then you've pulled them off the board for maybe an entire console generation, and then you're gonna pull Naughty Dog off the board probably for another console generation.
Yeah.
And you just go down the list and it's like, all right, not saying that these other studios and teams and franchises can't deliver something interesting, but your heaviest of hitters are going to go away for a while.
Yeah.
And what do you do? I
And
don't
now,
know.
now that we're talking about it, I do think what AAA studios need to do is to take a note from RGG Studios
Mhm.
or IOI, and you can't spend all this money on one game. You need to reuse those assets and make like a little trilogy out of it.
Yep.
Hitman 1, 2, and 3 sold very well, and they sold better with each other game
And cost
and
less each game.
cost less and took less time to make. If CDPR follows through on that Witcher promise,
That's yeah.
a big if, it is a big if, but I would like to see it happen because I do think it is what these companies need to turn towards because these dev cycles are getting too long.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool to get, video games quicker and cheaper.
Yeah.
And even with Hitman, if you bought Hitman 3, it came with all the content from
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get more 007 games and other stuff. I don't know. Those are the stories that make me a little optimistic.
Yes.
If we want to inject a little bit of optimism in here because we can't be all doom and gloom about, you know, our favorite medium, probably my favorite. I mean, I went to
Yeah.
film school, but video games are special and I don't want them to die. Like
No, I
that's
don't
at the end
either.
of the day, that's all it is. I think that's really where we need to go as a whole in the
Yeah.
industry. Do you have any other things that you wanted to say?
Not really. I will be curious to see what the next generation looks like. They also Sharma stated something along the lines of like they're specifically looking at holiday 2027 right now. For
Sure.
she didn't outright say it, but the implication sounded to be the next console. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
that's crazy. And she said they would be spending by next year 5 times what they are at now uh, on console components because of the AI stuff. That you can't release a fucking console right now.
No.
I understand that there's all kinds of reasons why it's hard to back out of that, but I think you are killing yourself if you mass produce these and spend the money producing them and then put it out there and no one fucking buys it. Because right now they've said we can't produce enough Xboxes currently for the current generation. And that's going to be a problem this November for Grand Theft Auto. Do they have enough consoles to meet demand of like, hey, I want this thing? PlayStation, I bet you they're gonna figure it the fuck out because they have a marketing deal with Grand Theft Auto, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So they're gonna find a way. Can Xbox do it? I don't know. I don't
People
know.
are already not buying consoles either. They didn't buy
Yeah,
this gen, so I don't
yeah,
know how you can expect them to buy the next one. It's just
no.
not. It's just
And
not.
people just aren't
Yeah.
ready. Like
No,
that,
they're not.
I'm not ready. As someone who likes the shiny new technology, I'm not ready to move on to the next generation. I have zero interest in a new console. I've
And
had both
we've
of mine since day one, but yeah,
Yeah, and we've plateaued on the returns of upgrading. So I think really what these companies should be doing is investing more into optimization and making these games run better on what we already have. And some of them are. I mean, I remember when um both Lego Batman and First Light had minimum spec requirements that were ridiculous at first, and then
right,
later on they like made some optimizations to change that. Um I just think these devs need more time to do some optimizations like that, and hopefully, you
yeah.
know,
I
things
don't
will
think
get
we've hit a
better.
wall. Like I don't think we've gotten there. We'll see what Grand Theft Auto 6 looks like and feels like to see if it's pushing that wall. But even then, if that's the case, like that's the only studio that's probably like could do it right now because they've spent the entire generation working on one game. Them
Yeah,
and Naughty Dog.
yeah,
I don't think anyone else is trying to hit the ambitions that they are. So I really think we'd all be better off because the fact of the matter is, in 2030, people will still be playing on PS5.
yep,
If things go that the way they are this generation, I think people will probably stay on this generation even longer.
yeah, and there's profit to be had there.
Yeah,
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 'cause consoles selling hardware has never been that profitable anyway. So
no.
I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, that's I I guess we just ended there because there's really no positive spins after this.
The
But
good news is there's probably a new GTA 6 trailer coming this week,
yeah,
and we'll talk about that next time if that happens.